Marvel Studios has never ceased to amaze us. The fact that they are bringing Jamie Foxx's Electro into the Marvel Cinematic Universe awakens curiosity to discover what other characters from previous Spider-Man movies could be next. Spider-Man became part of the MCU within the last few years after Disney and Sony agreed to share the web-slinger. Before Tom Holland's Spidey debut, Sony had previously created two different Spider-Man franchises that seemed to be severed from what was currently happening. Nevertheless, Marvel Studios and Sony's relationship shows us the opportunity to restore things from the past. In the movie Spider-Man: Far From Home, we were shocked to see a cameo by J.K. Simmons as Jonah Jameson from the original Spider-Man trilogy directed by Sam Raimi. Although it is the same actor in quite a familiar role, the MCU recontextualized Jameson as an Alex Jones-type extremist/theorist who runs a website. We also received rumors that in Spider-Man 3, Marvel is bringing Jamie Foxx back as Electro. Whether it's the same Electro who is the main villain in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, a version taken from another dimension, or a reimagining of the character for the MCU, we still don't know. While there are not many specifics about Electro's return to the MCU, the reality that he's another actor-character combo to return from previous Spider-Man films is pretty noteworthy. Since he had become well associated with the character, bringing back Simmons as Jonah Jameson made some sense. But after the difficult reaction to Foxx's past depiction as Electro, it would have been simpler for Marvel to cast someone different for the role. With characters like Foxx's Electro seemingly brought back from the past, Marvel and Sony could continue to add more Spider-Man movie characters to the MCU. This may be an opening for Alfred Molina to return to stardom as Doc Ock, since Marvel Studios and Sony are already bringing back a past Spider-Man villain. As one of the greatest comic book movie villains of all time, Molina's Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 is pretty well remembered. His performance and character design were both amazing, but due to Doc Ock dying at the end of Spider-Man 2, he only had a chance to appear in the one movie. However, you never know if we might get to see another version of Doc Ock in Spider-Man 3, or possibly another MCU property, considering Spider-Man 2 director Sam Raimi is at the helm of Marvel's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The MCU's many possibilities could trigger certain characters from previous Spider-Man movies to come back with a twist. One such character could be Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, who was the main love interest for Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 adapted Gwen's death from the comics, preventing the two of them from living happily ever after. Since then, Stone has been one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and we are confident she could return in the same capacity. Fortunately, in recent years, Gwen Stacy has been reinvented as Spider-Gwen in the comics, a version of Gwen who received a bite from a radioactive spider and unintentionally killed the Peter Parker of her Earth after becoming the Lizard. The magic of Marvel's multiverse would allow for Stone to potentially return as an older Spider-Gwen. Marvel and Sony wouldn't have to search far back into their movie history to find a full list of characters to bring back into the MCU. One such character would be Tom Hardy's Venom. The movie was a colossal financial hit despite its mixed reviews. And even though there was some uncertainty about whether or not Venom was linked to the MCU, producer Amy Pascal stated it was MCU adjacent. And there remains to be rumors that Holland's Spider-Man could make an appearance in Venom: Let There Be Carnage. It might not be long before Hardy's Venom officially joins the MCU. Willem Dafoe could come back as Norman Osborn, aka Green Goblin. In the first Spider-Man, Dafoe brilliantly brought the crazy out of Norman Osborn. Spoiler alert, despite the fact that he died at the end of the film, he returned for cameo roles in the two following films. Although Marvel hasn't done anything with Osborn yet, he could be set up as a villain with a role that lasts a decade. Although it's unlikely Dafoe would make a return as the maniacal businessman, he could still return in any kind of capacity. The MCU should aspire to outperform the expectation that existed with Felicity Jones being cast as Felicia Hardy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The MCU could give Jones the chance to play Black Cat once more, since being nominated for an Oscar and leading blockbusters such as Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, in the years since. And because Sony wants to make a solo movie centered on Black Cat, this could also help make it possible. Thomas Haden Church should return to the MCU in his Spider-Man 3 role of Sandman. By the end of his lone appearance, his tale was finished, but some intriguing possibilities were generated by the multiverse. Church could come back as the same Sandman we've seen before, and reveal what happened after Spider-Man 3, or he could show up as a revamped version of the character. The MCU may not want to take a lot of things from his past involvement, but it would be fascinating if Sandman had connections to the death of Uncle Ben in the MCU as well. Uncle Ben would then finally be addressed. Which characters do you think should join the MCU? Let us know in the comment section below. Be sure to check out one of our latest videos here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more of your favorite movie content here on Cinemash.